ating mga kapatid sa media. We are on live stream also. And we're very happy that we have the foremost mayor of the country, the city mayor of Manila. Palakpakan po natin ang ating city mayor. Siya ang ating panawing pandangal dito sa ating kapihan sa Manila Prince. At kasama ko po muli ang ating publisher and former press secretary, Sunny Coloma. Sunny Coloma po. At alam mo, derechahan ang usapan nito. Wala nang paligoy-ligoy. Ang ating panawing pandangal ay nagsilbi na or over two decades na ang kanyang public service. Nagsimula sa isang payak na pinagmulan, humble beginnings sa Tondo, Manila, at dumanas din ng maraming paghamon sa buhay mula pa ng kanyang kabataan. Subalit nagtiyaga at nagpursigi. Nagsimula siya bilang city councilor ng Manila and the most voted councilor at that. Hindi lang sa artista, talaga namang masipag at magaling. At mula doon ay naging vice mayor ng lungsod ng Maynila hanggang sa naging mayor. Sa executive level in the national front, siya ay naging Undersecretary of the Department of Social Welfare and Development and Chairman of the National Railways Corporation. Nag-aral din siya ng batas at nagkaroon ng mga studies sa Harvard and Oxford University, na siyang lalo nagpatalas ng kanyang kalaman, lalo-lalo na sa area of public administration. So that in a nutshell is the person we are having as our resource and guest speaker in today's kapihan. So Mayor, mabuhay ka at mainit na pagtanggap dito sa Manila Prince Hotel.
Thank you, Senator Joey Lina, our idol, at ang ating magaling na Secretary Sunny Coloma, at sa inyong lahat na nandito, friends in the media and the mga independent vloggers. I'd like to make mention of our barangay chairman, Nathan Relion, used to be members of the Sangguniang Panglungsod, si Nathan. Sa inyo po lahat, magandang umaga. Thank you po, Senator.
Simulan ko na ito, Sunny.
Din lamang at nagagaling lang natin sa SONA. Bagamat siya ay nag-deliver na rin ng kanyang sariling State of the City address. At Kakirino.
Naman kayo dalawa.
Siguro po, sige.
Sorry,
Kaya, komportable na si Yomi. Ano po ba ang pananaw natin para sa lungsod ng Maynila sa susunod na 2 taon? At sa higit pa roon, what is your vision for the city of Manila and the Manileños?
Manila is a very challenging city in terms of demographics and economic situation. A lot of contradiction. Nandito mga pinakamayayaman at yumaman ng gusto na mga individual at korporasyon. Nagsimula lahat sa Manila. On the other side of the river, there is also the poorest among the poor. Tapos lahat yata ng lahi ng ating bansa, Ilocano, Ilonggo, Bisaya, Muslim nating mga kapatid, and so on and so forth, nandito rin. Kaya it's very challenging, and it's a very old city. 455 na tayo. Kaya ang aming vision at mission ay itong lungsod na Kapitolyo ng bansa ay manatiling at maging maaliwalas. Bagamat kami luma. At the very least that we can do is maging maaliwalas at panatag ang pamumuhay. At the same manner, side by side, we continue to develop and bring back those old days that the city of Manila bilang kabisera is the window of opportunity for everyone. With business, life learning, journey, dito lahat. Lahat naman yan ay nagsimula sa Manila. At patuloy ng Manila in terms of education, sa private and public school, continue to produce top-notch students. And businesses are growing. We are also the entry point of raw materials. And in fact, that's one of our greatest challenges with regard to transportation or use of roads because there is about 4,000 trucks will come in and out of the city daily, will pass by the western side of the city. So kaya talaga dapat yung minimum na may bibigay namin sa tao in the next generation is maging maliwalas at panatag ang pamumuhay sa Luzon. And we continue to deliver the MBN, my aspiration, my dreams, and my vision to our people, which is the minimum basic needs, and speaks of education, healthcare, housing, and jobs. Yan ang ating gagawin sa mga darating na linggo, buwan, taon, midterm and long-term development of the city. Diyan tayo naman.
Pamilyar po kayo doon sa programa ng DSWD na 4Ps. Batid po namin, meron din kayong nailatag na mga inisyatiba para din sa mga katumbas na mga 4Ps beneficiaries sa lungsod ng Maynila. Maaari po bang paliwanag natin ito sa ating mga kaibigan sa media?
When I was appointed by President Rodrigo Roa Duterte as USEC for DSWD, nakita ko yung social amelioration program ng DSWD being part of the organization. And I saw that siyempre yung iba ipapapalad sapagkat nalilista sila. Ngunit sa laki ng bansa, siguro meron tayong nakukulangan ng kaunti. So that's why when I became mayor of the city, what we did is to come up with parallel program, but initiative of the local government. Like in the case of senior citizen, yun ang una kong prioritize, yung senior citizen. Meron din naman sa national government, DSWD. Out of 200,000, more or less, senior citizen in Manila, there is about 35,000 listed in the DSWD program. So what we did is to come up with the pension or allowance ng senior citizens sa Manila nung first term ko as mayor. Pero ito, 500 pesos across, walang mahirap, walang middle class, walang mayaman. Ang tanging qualification lang, edad at saka taga Maynila. Very simple, straightforward. So they're getting it quarterly. Recently, about a few days ago, lumabas na yung second quarter ng allowance ng mga senior citizen. Kasi ang priority ko talaga yung mga senior. Doon man lamang tayong mga bata, sabi ko, kaming mga bata. Kung nasaan man ngayon ang ating bansa, ay dala na rin ang utang na loob natin sa mga matatanda natin sa kasalukuyan. Sapagkat yung mga pinagpagal nila, pinagpursigihan nila ng araw, itinaguyo nila. Siya ang ating pinakikinabangan ngayon. Bagay man lamang na in their twilight years, maramdaman nila na may gobyernong ipinagmamalasakit sila. O kaya na nagtuloy-tuloy yung programa na yun. Then, I have to give credit where it's due. Kinopya ko naman sa Makati kay dating Vice President and Mayor Jojo Marbinay. Ito talaga pinopya ko to sa kanila. Yung may mga cake, yung mga senior. Then, we came up with another idea to reinforce the health of our seniors. So yung ensure, yung gatas na ensure. Then we went further, sabi ko, doon this sa PWD, tapos na pag-alaman ko na may mga PWD rin na bata, so we gave financial assistance also regularly sa PWD and senior, PWD, adult and minor. Then we went again further and further. Now we have the solo parent. Kasi mahirap magtaguyod nang nag-iisa ka lang sa buhay ng iyong mga anak. So dito man lamang, kaakibat mo on your side is the city government of Manila. Then ito ang ating mga scholar ng bayan. Yan mga estudyante natin sa UDM.
Ito
At
sa,
sa PLM.
para sa mga kabataan naman.
Oo,
Na
ito
senior, ito naman sa mga
Kabataan.
kabataan.
Kasi ako, I for one of many also wishes to finish our education. Maswerte mo pag ikay natanggap sa PLM, saka sa UDM. But the challenge is economic. Alam mo, nasa sentro yung PLM. So if you're coming from Balot, Tondo, if you're coming from Arpapa, boundary ng Caloocan at Manila, if you're coming from Mabuhay, Rotonda, and if you're coming from Santa Mesa, or if you're coming from Vito Cruz, medyo mamamasahe ka. Alam mo yung ibang mga estudyante natin, ipinag-ahari mo na lang talaga ng kanilang mga magulang yung kanilang pag-aaral. Kaya sabi ko, baka kung po pwede, magbigay tayo ng allowance sa mga estudyante ng PLM, which we did. Then we went further up to K-12. Kaya may allowance sila sa amin na 1,000 pesos. Kahit pa paano, pabawasan ko yung gastusin nila sa pamasahe. Or kaya pa nila kung mabilidad yung bata, pwede pa magbaon. May matira pa para sa
1,000 a month.
1,000.
Doon naman po sa aspeto ng pag-modernize ng ating mga sistema, batid din po na ang Maynila isa sa mga nag-pioneer ng digitalization ng local government. Siguro po, ikatutuwa ng ating mga kaibigan sa media kung may papaliwanag natin ng mga inisyatiba ng City of Manila on the digital revolution.
Noong 2019, when I became mayor, may in-introduce ako based on the result nung pag-aaral ko. Pinalad ako makapag-aral sa Boston. And isa sa mga sinabi ng teacher ko doon sa klase namin, sabi niya, you cannot solve corruption. We were in awe, no? Pero yung pala may quote yun. Sabi niya, the only way for corruption to die is to limit human discretion in government transaction. That was 2012. So when I became mayor, applying the teaching of my professor, we came up with an idea of limiting human intervention or interaction in government transaction. We started with business. So that's why nabuhay yung Go Manila, where people can pay now online without meeting anybody in as much as we can. In fact, binoto yun ng ARTA. Nung nagsimula yung ARTA, tuwa sila sa Business One-Stop Shop namin. At saka na-nominate yun sa buong mundo. Sa Bloomberg and so on and so forth. Sumunod, nawala ako saglit. Pinatay, hindi masyadong ginamit yun. When I came back this time around, binuhay namin ulit. At now we went further. We are now going to, as we speak, digitizing, cleaning, double entries, mis-entry of our real property division or tax sa assessor's office. Tapos, we adapted to this new technology which is recently was given recognition in San Diego last week yung ating ArcGIS. Yung ArcGIS is a system that we bought, subscribed, and utilized by the MDRRMO for disaster resiliency and preparation. And as you know, doon mismo sa Manila Hotel, pinalipad ko yung bago natin biling drone. Yung drone na ito is not an ordinary drone. This has AI capabilities and 3D mapping capabilities. Ibig sabihin, pag pinalipad natin yung drone, namamapa natin ng gusto, pati i-3D map yung lahat ng struktura sa Manila. And with that capabilities, now we are now venturing into literally, technically, by millimeter, to map the cadastral situation, private and government and so on and so on, of the entire city of Manila. To make it efficient later on and not to, hindi na malito yung taong bayan kapag minsan nahanap nila yung kanilang mga dokumento or details ng kanilang property. And we will see now, in line with the zoning, kung nasusunod ba ng maayos yung ating zoning standards. So, these are the technologies that are being utilized. And after the cadastral data management that we're going to do in the coming weeks now, we're going to go to business data banking. Then we're going to do the healthcare data banking. So this is a big data system by ArcGIS. Multi-special o maraming mapa na kung saan yung mga susunod na magiging mayor ng Maynila pagdating ng araw will now have datas available at the fingertips of any leader. Why is it very important? Siyempre, yung efficiency of expenditures, allotment of limited resources, prioritizing policy or programs of governance. Mas madali mong maimamarka. For example, let's just say, dahil may AI technology yung aming sistema, malalaman ko yung dating mataas ang heat index na kalye dahil nag-intervene kami ng open green space. So malalaman namin, nagkaroon ba ng epekto? Lumamig ba yung lugar? Umaliwalas ba? Gumana ba yung clean air in the area? Like Lotto and Roas Boulevard. So these are the things na makikita mo unti-unti. Pati yung alam mo, may sistema yun. I hope someday magamit natin. Kung talaga may pera lang, hindi tayo magsasawa, nakakapangarap na gagawin. Alam mo, there is also, under the same system that we bought, subscribe, kaya natin ma-predict kung magbabaha. Sa kwentada ng buhos ng tubig, yung volume, sa elevation ng lupa natin, at kung na-mapping natin ang lahat ng drainage, easily, in a matter of few minutes, ma-detect mo na itong lugar na to magbaba 2 hours thereafter. Kaya naalis mo na ang tao. Saving lives ba and property. And those are the futures of Manila later on. But for now, we are really investing through our human resources, because we already have the system, on data inputs. Data banking talaga. So that later on, may big data kami. Pag sinabi ko, let's just say, itong barangay ni Nathan, ito, barangay niya. Dito, maraming mayroong TV. Bakit nagkaroon ng TV? Ito, maraming senior na may pulmuan. Dito, maraming may sipuan. Dito, maraming may galis aso. Ito yung healthcare, data mapping. So, magagawa mo ng intervention itong mga bagay na ito.
Sa larangan ng kalusugan ng mga Manileño, ano ang mga programa na sinagawa na at isasagawa pa?
ang ating lungsod?
One, immediately I found out when I assumed again office, maraming health center na sinara at pinatay. Meron pa nga mga health center, ginawa na lang barangay hall. It may have a good purpose, the reason behind, but you know, a growing population like Manila, or the country itself, no? And an aging one, no? And especially yung ating food habit produces a lot of sickness. No? Kaya dapat baliktad. Imbis na magsara ka, maggawa ka ng bago to address the populations or the demand of time. So immediately, we reclaim all those health centers, and we've been developing health centers, or what you call the primary care, the front line of healthcare. The reason, one, access to immediate or outpatient care, lalo na sa mga senior, mga buntis, mga bata. Lahat yan, tenga, mata, ipin, and so on and so forth. Para naman na sa gano'n, matiklad ko rin yung foot traffic sa ating ospital, o itong mga ospital natin. Sa level pa lang ng community, may access na ang tao. So we've been building a lot of health center and developing and utilizing spaces. Second, immediately we opened the Baseco Hospital. Ngayon nagagamit na yung Baseco Hospital, and we're about to, as we speak, we're about to be accredited as level 1. Kasi nakukumpleto ko na yung mga medical professionals, na pagtanto-tanto nila na tahimik sa Baseco, tapos nagdadatingan ng mga makina. Because we appropriated the 320 million itong quarter lang na ito for the acquisition of all kinds of medical equipment across, whether health center or iba't ibang hospital. Kanina umaga, nasa chat group lang namin. Yung laparoscopy dumating sa hospital na Sampaloc. Last week, 2D, 4D, to the echo, ano yung mga sa buntis, tapos laparoscopy, nag-opera. And last Monday, because during my first term, nung ginawa namin yung bagong hospital ng Maynila, we came up with a department, or what you call cath lab, or yung para sa angiogram, sa angioplasty. It's a very expensive, life-threatening procedure. Alam naman natin, pare-pareho.